welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're your hosts, Dan and Andy. Andy, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Today is February 27th, 2023. We're wrapping up February tomorrow. We'll be into March before we know it. We're on season 4, episode number 16. Today's a sports edition. We'll provide all the sports updates, coverage, sports, high school, college, pro, World Baseball Classic. We've got everything coming at you now. And
trivia.
And we got trivia. You know, March Madness is all about March, the state tournaments going on for 4 straight weekends in the month of March. But it always kicks off end of February. We got girls hockey, gymnastics, dance. This weekend is state high school wrestling, Andy. Now, I did a bonus episode on the girls preview, on the individual girls preview for all the 12 weights going through the 8 finalists. That's out there. I can put a link to that in the description here. That's the girls' second ever time they're doing it. Now, trivia question is the boys.
Hold on. I want to back you up on the girls real quick first. I shared it on our Facebook page. Brother-in-law lives in Wyoming.
Yes.
He posted a news story. I shared it. A girl won the boys tournament.
Okay.
They don't have a separate one. The girls wrestle with the boys, and she won the weight class. She took the whole thing.
Weight class in the entire state is phenomenal.
Yep. So
now that is something else. Now we don't have that here in the boys. In the girls, they split off here in Minnesota, the state of Minnesota, boys versus girls. Now that's not to say that a girl could potentially elect to go with the boys, right?
Right. They do during the season, yes, but she was in the tournament and won it.
Won over the boys. Well, that episode was pretty interesting because we've got 3 or 4 ranked girls in the nation here in the state of Minnesota that are ranked in the nation in the top 10, top 5, and they are going to be tough to beat. Now, they start also this coming Thursday. Now, the girls will be wrestling, I think, Saturday only, I believe. There's less of them going, and there's less weights, so they'll do nothing Thursday, nothing Friday. They'll do everything on Saturday. You're already in the quarterfinals if you made it this far anyway. So they do wrestle back for 3rd and 5th and consolation. So the trivia question today, ladies and gentlemen, is there's 3 classes of teams going to the state. The top 8 teams in wrestling make the state in Class A, AA, and AAA. Now, most of the teams that are going are all typically your top 5, your top 8. Mainly they're ranked in the top 12.
Right.
Of the 8 teams that go, because there's multiple times there's teams in your section that you've got to beat in the sections before you even get to the state. So there are some upsets. There are some Cinderella teams out there, but there's one in particular is the question today. Today's trivia question is, what is the lowest ranked team that's at the state coming up this Thursday? This Thursday is the teams. Individuals Friday, Saturday, but Thursday's team event only.
All right. Starting
at 9 a.m. for all 3 classes. What is the team? What's the long shot? Who's the Cinderella team out there, if you know it? It doesn't matter what class, A, AA, or AAA. We'll get the answer. All right. Do you want to start with some high school stuff?
Yes, I got some stuff. Flip me over to my stuff there. Well, here we'll start with the World Baseball Classic, though, like we do. We're on Pool C this week.
Pool C.
A, B, C, D.
Okay.
And recap. Now, of course, you see in Pool C, it's USA, Mexico, Colombia, Canada, and Great Britain. We're hitting just from the other 2 sides, the Europeans and the Far East, kind of drop names you might recognize. Team USA, you're going to recognize all the names. Unless you're new to the show, you got it. We're just to mention the Mets players for Team USA. But there's other names from the other teams we'll mention too. And you say, what about the Twins players? Okay, without sounding like Archie Bunker, there's not a lot of Americans on the Twins team.
Correct.
You look ahead, they got a lot on the team for the DR and Puerto Rico, which we'll cover next week. So we'll start with Team USA. First baseman Pete Alonso him and Paul Goldschmidt will be split in there, so one will be DH and one will be playing first. There's Pete Alonso, the polar bear, as they call him. He'll be participating. And also Jeff McNeil. Fun fact here, Dan. If you look at that, Jeff McNeil, you see his stats there. See that birthday, April 8th?
Yes.
Same birthday as Gary Carter.
Gary Carter. Is that why Carter wore the 8 jersey?
I don't know if that was the significance of that or not, but
it could be. Now, Mr. McNeil won the batting title, did he not?
Yes, and there he is. He's just Joe average-looking guy, just goes all out, very good player. So very likable guy.
Yes.
Very happy to still be a Met and wants to finish his career there. So, and Jerry Manuel, ex-Met, is the coach of the team, and there's Jerry's playing career and as manager and player. Tigers, Expos, Padres as a player. He's a manager with the Sox and the Mets, and a coach. Expos, Marlins, Mets. That 1 year at the Marlins is when they got the championship, I believe, in '97. Yep,
yes,
champion. Yep.
Then they dismantled the next year, right?
The 2 years the Marlins won it. This is a show for another day, but they bought their championship those 2 years. Then they had a fire sale after that winter. So
okay,
but we'll cover that at the time. And he was AL Manager of the Year in 2000 when he was managing the White Sox. So kind of knows what he's doing.
Tough thing to do.
Some of the other coaches on Team USA, names you may recognize: Brian McCann, Ken Griffey Jr., Andy Pettit, Dave Righetti, and Michael Young. So you got Righetti as the bullpen coach. Ken Griffey Jr. is your hitting coach. I don't know if this is a thanks, Ken, for playing. Sorry we didn't do this when you were playing. Is this a thing where he wants to try it, see if he wants to get into coaching? I don't know. Pettit, Righetti, I can see them getting into coaching.
Righetti is pretty old, right?
Right. So I can see if he was a minor leaguer, if maybe they've spent time like at training camps as instruction, like Molitor does and Winfield does and that for the Twins. But Junior, I wonder if this is a test for him, see if he wants to get into coaching. So
yeah, it could be. It could be. He's very good. I mean, that would be a
talented guy.
Great thing.
The wife hates when I say this because she's a teacher, but he's got all those swings. Like, how do you teach that? Those who can do, those who can't teach.
Will Clark swing.
Yeah, very few of these athletes are such beautiful athletes to watch. Make good coaches. So we'll see what Griffey turns out to be.
Interesting.
The Mexican team, Oliver Perez. Now, you look at Oliver Perez here, pitcher. He's had a cup of coffee with almost everybody and their brother playing because, well, he's a left-handed pitcher. He's going to pitch forever. His last regular season in the majors was in 22, so he didn't play last year, and he only had 7 games in 22. I don't think this is I want to still play in the bigs type of performance from him. I think it's just I got enough to play for my country for something like this for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, But I don't know if he's got the gas to go for a season.
Interesting.
TJ Walker, ex-Met, now with the other team in Pennsylvania. But again, regular name, you might recognize him. Good luck to him this season. And we hear from the Brewers. This guy has got a great career ahead of him, I think. I really do. I love watching him play. Geez, Andy, he batted .239 last year. That sucks. Yeah, it does. But you know what? He's fun to watch in the field. He's good. He's clean, and he's young. Give him time.
Yes.
For that name. And their coach, there he is, Benji Gill. Remember Benji Gill?
No, I don't remember him at all.
Benji Gill was a player. He played for the Rangers and with the Angels, and he's coached with the Angels. Mexican baseball. He's down there right now with those. Represents Mexico. Pan American Games.
The Tomatoes.
The Tomatoes, yes. He coaches the Tomatoes.
Okay.
Led the Puerto Rican team or the Pan Am Games to a third-place finish, a bronze, so knows what he's doing. That's the wrong button. There we go. And also, there's Vinny Castilla as a coach for Mexico. He's in the Mexican Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, yes.
And, his career, he had that great career at the Rockies for a few years because he was just a power hitter at the right time in the right ballpark. And then he just couldn't land anywhere for more than a couple years after that. But
this guy was good.
Yeah. 276 average, 320. So just good. You're good number 4 hitter back in that era, I mean, look at his stats: 2-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, RBI leader in 24, and again, another member of the Mexican Hall of Fame. Team Canada. Just a couple names you might not recognize for Canada, but Freddie Freeman's going to play again for Team Canada. At the base number 1 there, some people call it. So watch for Freddie play. Freddie, good player. He's been popping off lately about the Mets. Basically has no issue with the Mets spending money. He goes, that's what it's there for. So Great Britain, a couple names to watch for here. Harry Ford, catcher in the Mariners system.
I don't know him.
He's pretty low in the Mariners. He's A-ball, but you keep an eye on this name. He was a first-round pick, pick number 12 in the 21 draft. Remember that name. Couple 3 years, you might see him doing some stuff. He's 20 years old. He's just a little boy.
So a catcher out of Kennesaw, Georgia.
Yes. So keep an eye on him. If you watch the team Great Britain, their team, he's one of the 3 catchers there, but just remember that name. Harry Ford. Easy name to remember, but catcher for the Mariners. Minnesota State High School League hockey, girls finished up. Class A champion War Road, which I think would probably finish 4th in the boys tournament. They're a good team, those girls are.
Oh, yes.
They're just a machine. They're just so fun to watch. Just boom, boom. And the Gentry Stars over Andover. Gentry Stars upset Minnetonka in the second round. And yes, I cried that night.
But I said it. Do we have a result of that third place game?
We do, and we're not talking about it.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about it.
That was perhaps one of the best matchups for a third place game in the history of state Minnesota.
Yeah. We're not talking about it. We're going on.
Okay. I don't know the result. I won't bring it up, but boy, that would have been.
Yeah.
For another show, maybe.
Yes. Girls results. Here's Team Class A for gymnastics. Watertown Mayor coming in 4th. And you see their sections over there and how they all did in each individual exercise, vault, uneven bars, balance beam, floor exercise, and then the team score. And there's the individuals. Reagan Kelly from Watertown is your overall winner.
Wow.
But here's the thing where I like looking at this stuff like for track or for wrestling or for gymnastics. We see this. You see 12th grader, 10th grade, 12th, 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 12th. You see those underclassmen, if you will, popping up there. Dakota Exit from North Branch. 10th grade, and she was 3rd. So, that she's the name to watch because Reagan Kelly from Watertown, 3 years in a row, did very, very well. So this has got the passing of the torch in a way. So
yes. Congrats to her.
Maggie McCabe, 15th for Watertown, also down there. So 1st and 15th we had. AA New Prague takes home the trophy. St. Cloud Owatonna, Hopkins at 6th. There's our standings. Again, Mayo Woods, 4th place, 10th grade. 10th grade in 5th place. 9th grade. Look at all those underclassmen up there. So it's kind of good to watch.
Yeah, and this is the finals for the state. I mean, most of them are the not even seniors at this level. Yeah. So that's going to be the group to watch for next season.
Yeah, a lot of underclassmen that group. So that's kind of fun to watch too. Northern Sun basketball. Before the game, I was watching the Beavs play. There's how the men's bracket started out. Down to the Final Four here. Bemidji State and Moorhead are playing in the afternoon game. Moorhead was up by 10 at half. And Duluth and Northern State played in the earlier game. And to tell you the truth, I do not know who won that one. So we'll go from there. So there's that. And they'll play tomorrow for the championship. The gals, Minnesota Duluth won theirs semis the other day against Augustana. And Minnesota State Mankato over Southwest Minnesota State. And they will play the 28th. These are in Sioux Falls, these games going on.
So these are conference tournaments here.
Yes. Now, yes, if they win, they're in. But this is Division II basketball, so you won't see these names on Selection Sunday. So it's Division II. CCHA college hockey, they have everybody's playoffs right now, Dan. And there it is. For the Mason Cup, and I'll blow this up here for the first round so you can see the upper bracket, the 1 seed, Minnesota State Mavericks and Lake Superior. And then Northern Michigan and the Beavs in the 4-5 game. Then you have Bowling Green and Ferris State, Michigan Tech, and the Tommies to round off the bottom half. Now, the first round of games is best of 3. And then after that, it's single elimination. So,
okay.
Women's basketball tournament at center of the Target Center. 16 teams in the Big, or 14 teams in the Big Ten. It's that new math. So Minnesota's in that first round, first game. Because when you're bad, that's what you got to do. You got to win 5 games to make it in automatically for them, which I don't think's happening. You see the top 4 seeds, they get the first 2 rounds as a bye. Indiana, Ohio State, Iowa, and Maryland are
well-deserved.
Get the byes, yes. So there's those games coming up. Big Ten men's hockey. Now, I skipped over the boys for Big Ten basketball. They still got a week of the regular season to go. They're not seeded yet in the tournament. So
correct.
Hockey, 7 teams. Gophers are the one that, so they get the first round bye. Notre Dame and Michigan State are the 4-5. Michigan and Scotty, Ohio State, and Penn State.
And once again, best of 3.
Yes. And these games take place at the higher seed. So
okay.
There's no one place for it. So. And the women's WCHA, sponsored by Quick Trip. Gophers, Bucky Badger on one side of the bracket. Ohio State and the Bulldogies on the other side. So there we go. And that's also at Ritter Arena here in Minneapolis, March 3 and 4.
Yeah, that's some good hockey right there.
Yep. If you like women's hockey, you just like the pure natural hockey sport, there's a place to go spend the weekend. And now for Dan's favorite part of the show.
My favorite.
Okay, I know I've mentioned it once, and it reared its ugly head again yesterday as I was watching sports on TV. So I have to bring it up again. Okay, spring training baseball, I guess I'm okay if you have the players mic'd and talk to them during the game as they're in the outfield. It's spring training. Okay. You want to mic up a football player and listen to what he's saying afterwards on the bench, as long as you've edited it out and you got a 7-second delay, that's fine. Do not go to a player as they just lost the game or just won the game and throw a microphone in their face. Or, as in the instance yesterday in NASCAR, you want to listen to the audio play the audio conversation between the driver and his crew chief, or the driver and his spotter. That's fine. Don't do it live. Because there's emotions, there's tension going. And they're drivers, they're mechanics. If you've ever been in the shop when your dad's working, he's not exactly listening to the religious station and singing praises while he's in there. Because when you do that and you have the driver, the crew chief talking back and forth, And the announcer has to come back and go, "Oh, we apologize for that." That's on you. Play it on the delay. We'll be none the wiser. And if he did drop a swear word in there, then don't play it. Simple enough. Now, was I offended by the swearing? No. But don't apologize for either. We're watching NASCAR, for crying out loud. We get it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a tough thing because then I think sometimes with the FCC they've got to apologize. So I think they throw in the obligatory, we're apologize for that.
Right.
But you're right. We don't really want to hear that either. It is what it is. But
yeah. So either play that 7-second delay and go, "Here's from their conversation we heard," and you can beep it out then. We're fine with that. But if you want to be live or you want to go to an athlete right after something just happened, you're going to get some things said you don't want to hear. So play it on the delay. Have your live game be delayed 5-6 seconds so you can catch those and cut them out. I mean, I don't know. You apologize for a guy dropping a swear word in NASCAR, but do you watch the halftime shows during the Super Bowl? Anyway. That's what I got, sir. Spring training wise, as far as I know, for Mets and Twins, everybody's healthy. No one's injured. No one's broken anything yet. So we're still good there. No other real major injuries. I heard one guy got caught a pitch off the kneecap today, but that's going to happen during the season. You take a couple days off. Nothing career ending.
Now, what is the rule for the new pitching this year? Is it a number of times you can make a pickoff attempt at first base? Is that limited? Once.
Yeah. Now that hasn't been an issue. I've heard some games and calls. Machado's coming up bragging how, I guess I'll start with an 0-1 count a lot because he's going to admit he's going slow, just whatever. A game ended in a tie because of the batter wasn't ready, and so they called him out. Tie, bases loaded, full count. Oh, you're not ready. Strike 3 game.
Now
that's going to be a tough one.
My suggestion. Well, by the way, the reason I brought that up, I was following the Twins game today on the live cast on the game, and the Twins they ultimately lost, I think 4-1 to Boston today. But I saw a guy reach on a walk, and I see on the game cast the pitch by pitch, and it says pickoff attempt to first base. Okay, no big deal. And then I see it come up again, pickoff attempt at first base, back to back. And I had to do it once. I had to do a double take because I thought, I don't think you can do that. Then it refreshed and it says balk called, batter at first advances to second. So what they do is, if you do it over there twice as a mistake, which I think that this was, you would never do two straight pitches. He never made an attempt home. That's just called a balk. They advance him over to second. And I'm sure he got talking to by the coaching staff as later in the game, someone from the Red Sox did that. But yeah, you can only make one pickoff attempt. So the question then is,
why is the first baseman holding him on?
Why is he holding him on for the second time? And if the batter or the runner, in this case, the runner knows you made that first pickoff attempt early in the count, you're basically free to go.
Yeah, go halfway down the line and wait.
Pitch. So you're going to get to second anyway. If not, they make a call over there. You're at second for a balk anyway. Now the bases are close together, but the catcher now has got to be ready because, and I like this because you make one attempt to first and you've already used that. You've exhausted that for that batter. One attempt at first, he's going to potentially be running, whether the person's fast or not. So now the catcher's got to be ready to make the throw down to second if there's already been one pickoff attempt because they can't go there again.
Right.
So I think that will be interesting.
Okay, now here's my question on that is, after the pitch, can the catcher throw it the first as a pickoff? I've seen that sometimes.
I think that's still fair game because that's part of the subsequent play. The pitch comes in and then it's a quick relay rather than stepping off, going and delaying all this time.
So that might be done.
I think that'll be interesting. I've only followed a couple of the games so far to see how this stuff is going, but that's what they do is if you throw it a second, throw it a first two times or more than once, they will call a balk and advance the runners because you can't do that now. So we're seeing some of those come through, but it did strike me as odd.
And now, I've seen a couple players happy about getting base hits with no shift. So you're going to see that. I think batting average is going up.
Oh yes. They have been last couple of years so low. So maybe we'll see them getting back to normal. But 230, 250, 260 was good.
I saw a tweet the other day on the tweeter machine. Rod Crew and Tony O standing there. They still take a little BP down training camp. They stand with the bat in their hand. And I just think back, guys like Tony O and Rod and Tony Gwynn and Wade Boggs. Yeah. You can't put a shift on them. Straight away is how you play with guys like that, because they get hit through a Cheerio if they wanted to. I mean, so with hitters like that, you didn't have a shift. It was the David Ortizes of the world that could do nothing but pull the ball. That genre of players, that class, if you will, where they all wanted to go for the home runs and they pulled the ball all the time. That's how the shift started. And it's mostly left-handers. That's the sad part.
Yep. Well, so this Thursday, we've got some state wrestling coming up. Now, I'm going to the X, not to watch individuals, but on Thursday, I'm going to go there in the morning to watch the 9 o'clock matches. 9 a.m., I'm going to repeat that. Right. This is tough for wrestlers, I think, to get that up early, weigh in at 7, get ready to go, and wrestle for a team at 9 a.m. Then if you win, you wrestle again at 1. If you lose, you wrestle back-to-back. You go at 11 o'clock. So all day Thursday is just the team competition only. So Class A, we've got, as far as the feature, it's Jackson County Central is the team to beat there. Caledonia, Houston, Belgrade, Bruton, El Rosa. All those should be good. Class AA is you get the Simley, you get the New Prague on the other side of the bracket, Casson, Mantreville on the other side of the bracket. That looks like it's going to be a 1-4 versus a 2-3 in the finals. Yep. All those teams there will be good. Class AAA, going to support the Carver County here. Waconia is going ranked number 2 seed in the Class 3A. Big schools for wrestling. Nice. But they are the number 3 ranked team in the state for Class 3A. Second seeded, but 3rd ranked in the state. Hastings is 3rd seeded, but 2nd ranked in the state. Huh. Interesting there, because they're both in the same side of the bracket. I got a feeling both Waconia and Hastings will win to advance and play each other, and then we'll get our true shot there. St. Michael on the other side is going to go up probably against Stillwater. Apple Valley, after being good for so many years, is the number 10th ranked team in the state for AAA. They're a 5 seed and may not even get out of that first round. So that's Thursday morning at the X. I'll be providing some updates, taking some photos there. If at 9 o'clock, everyone plays at 9. You lose, you're in an elimination match at 11 o'clock a.m. You could be done for the tournament for your team by noon on day 1. That's what I think they want to do, though. They want to get the noise out of there and then focus on the good teams. Now, the trivia question was, who's the worst seeded team? Who's the worst ranked team that qualified for state this year in wrestling? Do you have any bets?
I think I got this one. Because I know we talked about it last week, like in AA. We had, you had New Prague and you had Scott West and Watertown all in the same class, all in the same group.
All ranked in the top 20.
The top 20.
Only one goal.
So like, okay. But you don't see a lot. We get 3 schools up there. So I'm going to say, I won't know the school, but I bet you the lowest ranked team has probably been 15.
Good question. The lowest this year, and it's an anomaly. It's not, I don't think, the worst ever, but a number 19 ranked team in the state is going to state. Class A, Medford, is ranked really 19th in the state of Minnesota, just in Class A. And like you just got done saying, Andy, a lot of these teams 2 weeks ago got done beating up on teams ranked higher than that just in their own section.
Right.
Now you get a team that's ranked 19th in the state, going to state, qualifying for the state tournament. Not saying it's a weak section, but on paper it is a weak section. There's no there was no upsets to get there. They were the top team in their section. So
yes,
it is a weak
upset who got there. That was top. Wow.
And so it's not a Cinderella. You know, there's a difference between getting an upset to go to state or just going to state because you have a weak section. Medford, congrats to them for going because they obviously won. But it's going to be tough going up against the first match, a third-ranked team in the state. And then after that, if you lose that, you're taking on either a number 2 or a number 12 ranked team in the state. So good, happy that they got in there to go, but it's going to be tough for a 19th ranked team to do much damage at the state. We'll have updates on them to see how they do on Thursday as well during the day on our Facebook page.
And wrestling, unlike other sports, for wrestling, it's not like Medford could go, hey, we want to have one of our first matches of the year be against Watertown or Scott West, a higher ranked school. You can't do that in wrestling like you can for basketball or hockey. You're kind of stuck geographically where you are.
So they're going to state. They're qualified. They'll be at the XL Energy Center for the tournament, but I don't think they'll last too long because most of those teams we talked about already in sections 2 weeks ago that were in the semifinals were much better than a team ranked 19th within a tough section like that. That's just the way it falls. They know that going in. It's no big surprise. Now, the XFL, Andy, XFL.
Yes.
Just finished week number 2. No news, nothing really to talk about. I'm just going to be providing some updates on the XFL, nothing big. But now, did Tanner Morgan get signed by the USFL?
I heard he did, yes.
Yeah, so, and the XFL is going on now, not the USFL, but Tanner Morgan, I think, was a first-round pick.
And I don't know which one's better than the other. If you want to compare, I think they're kind of equal.
Right now, I think they're balanced, but USFL, look for Tanner Morgan in a uniform for the USFL this coming spring. Former Gopher 5 or 6 year guy.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9 years he played for the. I think he's 40 now. He's
got a lot of years, a lot of games under his belt.
I heard a couple notes I heard is one player, and I'm blanking on the name. I know I put it on our social media. He has been benched in Canadian Football League, the NFL, XFL, USFL. Poor guy always gets a starting job to get benched. And then another thing, Dwayne Johnson, president and owner of the XFL, brought up is that AJ McCowan, who's led his team to back-to-back wins. And he goes, here's a guy who wanted to come play XFL because he's just wants to, like we've said, some of these tribute bands and smaller bands in town. He wants to sleep at home every night. The road's not for him anymore. Got a young family. Still wants to play, but doesn't want to try to be the second or backup for a third string quarterback for a pro team. I want to start. I want to play. And that's what I kind of like about the XFL and USFL. You're going to see guys like that playing.
Now,
who want to play.
The XFL, along with Dwayne The Rock and their leader, Danny Garcia, they're focusing on player 54. They're focusing on the NFL has 53 players on the roster. And so the XFL is saying, we're not competing. We're not looking to compete. We're not looking to take roster spots, but we are trying the best we can because on each of these teams in the XFL, there could be one player that could make the NFL roster that following year, that following season. It's kind of an underdog story, but there's always a chance that someone doing well could land on an NFL roster. But really, they're just saying 53 guys make the roster. Best guy on an XFL team could be really consider themselves NFL player number 54 is what they can do to shoot for. They're going to be that minor league AAA team is what really is all it is. There's going to be some standouts, of course, but you're really not going to be any better than an NFL team unless you get there and make that next advancement and get to that point. But fun to watch. A lot of these guys, like you say, are playing for the love of the game.
Yeah. Not saying NFL players don't, but you see a lot more of it in the XFL, USFL, stuff like that.
Correct. Because they're not making that much money. The league itself, I can't believe they're making any money from a business standpoint. But these guys get to play 10 more games, big stadium, not a lot of crowds, 10 games a year, and then the postseason, and then it's done. And so That's all I've got for this week. Anything else, Andy?
No, just more high school coverage next week for basketball tournaments. Boys hockey, their section should be setting up. All our college brackets, we will have finals for that.
Pool and college basketball, men's basketball, like you said, next couple of weeks will be a lot of conference tournament fun stuff.
Oh, the joys.
Regular season will be wrapping up, but that's all I've got for this week.
That's all I got.
Have a good week.
See ya.